Many people feel confused about money. You may work hard and still feel unsure whether you are moving forward. You may save, invest, or build something of your own, yet the path often feels unclear. Around you, voices speak loudly about speed, risk, and sudden success. But inside, you sense that real stability does not come from noise. What troubles most people is not the absence of money, it is the absence of order. Money, when misunderstood, creates anxiety. It pulls the mind in many directions. It makes people chase results without understanding causes. And over time, it convinces them that wealth is something mysterious or unfair. John D. Rockefeller is often placed at the center of this misunderstanding. He is remembered as a symbol rather than a human being. Some see him as a ruthless figure who took everything. Others see him as a genius touched by fortune. Both views miss something essential. Rockefeller was not a legend in his own mind. He was a man who believed deeply in structure. He did not wake up thinking about domination or fame. He thought about order. He thought about waste. He thought about systems that worked and systems that failed. He paid attention to small details that most people ignore. Many people believe Rockefeller became wealthy because he was lucky. Others believe he was simply aggressive. Some think he benefited from being born at the right time. These explanations are convenient because they remove responsibility from the listener. They allow you to believe that his success had nothing to do with choices you could make. But the truth is quieter than that. Rockefeller earned his wealth by approaching money as a discipline, not a desire. He did not chase money for comfort or status. He treated it as a measurement of how well things were organized. To him, money was not emotional, it was informational. It showed where efficiency existed and where it did not. It revealed which systems were stable and which were fragile. Money, in his view, responded to order the way water responds to gravity. This is where most people misunderstand him. They imagine wealth as accumulation. He understood it as coordination. From an early age, Rockefeller was careful, not fearful, but careful. He recorded every expense. He tracked every obligation. He learned, slowly and patiently, how small leaks destroy large structures. He did not spend energy proving himself. He spent energy reducing waste. While others chased quick profits, he focused on steady margins. While competitors expanded recklessly, he refined processes. He believed that if something could be done a little better, it should be done that way every day. This mindset is not exciting, but it is powerful. Rockefeller understood something that many never accept. Wealth is built through repetition, not inspiration. It grows through consistency, not brilliance, and it survives through discipline, not emotion. When people speak about his empire, they often focus on scale. They speak of size, reach, and influence. But scale was never the starting point. Control was. He wanted control over costs before control over markets. He wanted control over processes before control over competitors. He believed that ownership mattered only if responsibility came with it. He did not expand until systems were stable. He did not move quickly when clarity was absent. This is difficult for many people to accept because it contradicts the popular story of success. The popular story says you must move fast or be left behind. It says hesitation is weakness. It says patience is a luxury. Rockefeller believed the opposite. He believed speed without order created collapse. He believed haste hid mistakes. He believed patience allowed truth to surface. His emotional control was not accidental,
it was practiced. He did not allow temporary conditions to dictate permanent decisions. When markets shifted, he observed. When competitors panicked, he waited. This calmness was not passivity, it was strength. Most people react to money. Rockefeller responded to it. He separated feelings from decisions. He understood that fear makes people sell too soon, expand too late, and abandon systems that need refinement. He trained himself to think long-term when others could not tolerate delay. Long-term thinking does not mean dreaming, it means planning for endurance.
Rockefeller asked different questions than most people. He did not ask how much he could make this year. He asked how stable the business would be in 10 years. He did not ask how to outgrow others. He asked how to reduce dependence on chance. He built systems that could survive mistakes. He built processes that improved over time. This is why his wealth lasted. It was not fragile. It was not dependent on a single insight or trend. It was grounded in habits repeated quietly, day after day. The public myth says Rockefeller crushed competition. The private reality is that he outlasted it. He focused on logistics, transportation, refining, storage, and coordination. These are not glamorous ideas, but they determine whether a business lives or dies. He understood that controlling the flow of operations mattered more than controlling attention. Money followed that understanding naturally. He did not see money as a reward, he saw it as confirmation. Confirmation that systems were aligned, confirmation that waste had been reduced, confirmation that decisions were consistent with long-term stability. This perspective changes how you approach wealth. If money is a reward, you chase it. If money is confirmation, you build toward it. Rockefeller built toward it. He accepted responsibility early in life. He believed that if something failed under his control, the fault was his to correct. He did not blame conditions, he adjusted methods. This sense of responsibility is rare. It requires humility. It requires patience. It requires the ability to delay personal comfort in service of future order. He lived simply for much of his life, even as wealth grew. This was not a performance. It reflected his values. Excess distracted from clarity. Noise interfered with judgment. He protected his attention carefully. Most people believe wealth brings freedom. Rockefeller believed discipline created freedom. By controlling habits, costs, and systems, he freed himself from chaos. Chaos is expensive. Order is efficient. This is the heart of his philosophy. When you bring order to your finances, your work, and your thinking, money responds. Not immediately, not dramatically, but reliably. Rockefeller did not rush this process. He trusted it. He understood that consistency compounds quietly. He understood that small advantages, applied steadily, become decisive over time. He did not need recognition for this. He needed results. This is why his success is often misunderstood. People look for a secret. There was none. There was only discipline, patience, and a willingness to do unglamorous work well. There was a refusal to be distracted by emotion. There was a commitment to structure over impulse. These principles are not unique to him. They are human. They can be learned. They can be practiced. They can be strengthened through repetition. You do not need to dominate markets to apply them. You need only to bring more order to what you already control: your time, your costs, your habits, your decisions. Rockefeller began where he was. So can you. He did not build wealth by believing in luck. He built it by believing in cause and effect. He knew that every action created a consequence, and he took responsibility for both. This belief grounded him. It stabilized him. It gave him confidence without arrogance. As you listen to this, you may feel a quiet shift, a sense that wealth is not something to chase, but something to align with,
a sense that calm effort, applied steadily, is more powerful than dramatic moves. That sense is accurate. In the next part, we will look more deeply at how Rockefeller structured his days, his decisions, and his thinking, and how ordinary people can apply the same principles without myth or imitation. For now, rest in this understanding. Wealth grows best in clarity, and clarity begins within.
To understand how John D. Rockefeller built lasting wealth, you must look closely at how he lived with his time. He did not treat time as something to be spent. He treated it as something to be directed. His days were structured, not rigid, but intentional. He believed that disorder in small things eventually appeared in large ones, so he practiced order early, quietly, and without needing recognition for it. He planned his work, he reviewed numbers, he reflected on decisions already made. He did not rush through tasks simply to feel busy. He believed that activity without direction was a form of waste. Most people confuse motion with progress. Rockefeller never did. He was willing to move slowly if it meant moving correctly. He understood that speed magnifies mistakes just as easily as it magnifies success. Because of this, he trained himself to pause before decisions that others made emotionally. This habit alone separated him from many competitors. When markets fluctuated, he did not panic. When prices dropped, he did not lose composure. He knew that emotional reactions distort judgment. He trusted preparation more than instinct. This did not make him cold, it made him clear. Rockefeller believed that clarity was a moral responsibility. When you control resources, employ people, or manage systems, confusion spreads harm. Order, in his mind, was a form of care. This is often missed when people speak about his legacy. They imagine wealth as power over others. He understood wealth as responsibility for systems. He focused intensely on efficiency, not because he wanted more, but because waste offended his sense of order. Waste meant resources were being misused. Waste meant effort was being lost. He believed that reducing waste benefited everyone involved. This belief guided his approach to business. He invested in infrastructure. He standardized processes. He negotiated carefully. He sought stability in supply and predictability in costs. These actions were not dramatic, they were deliberate. While others chased high margins through risk, Rockefeller pursued reliability through structure. He accepted lower profits in the short term if it meant greater control over the long term. This is where patience became a practical advantage. Most people want results quickly because they fear uncertainty. Rockefeller accepted uncertainty as part of reality. He did not fight it with impulsive decisions, he managed it with preparation. He asked questions others avoided. What happens if demand drops? What happens if transportation fails? What happens if partners leave? He did not assume things would work out, he made plans so they would. This planning was not pessimism, it was realism. Rockefeller respected reality. He did not expect it to bend to optimism. He adapted himself to it. This attitude shaped how he viewed ownership. Ownership, to him, was not about possession, it was about accountability. If you owned something, you were responsible for its performance, its efficiency, and its impact. He preferred ownership because it allowed control. Not control over people, but control over processes. Control reduced dependency on chance. Chance, in his view, was expensive.
Most people leave their financial lives to chance without realizing it. They rely on hope rather than structure. They react rather than plan. They wait for conditions to improve instead of improving their systems. Rockefeller did the opposite. He believed that systems should work even when conditions were unfavorable. This belief guided how he reinvested profits. He strengthened foundations instead of chasing expansion for its own sake. He believed growth should be earned through readiness. This patience frustrated others. Competitors often underestimated him because he appeared conservative. They mistook restraint for weakness. They were wrong. Restraint allowed him to observe. Observation allowed him to learn. Learning allowed him to act decisively when the moment was right. When he moved with clarity. This approach extended to his personal habits as well. He lived within limits. He kept routines. He valued health, rest, and balance because they preserved judgment. He understood that exhaustion leads to poor decisions, and poor decisions are costly. He guarded his mental state carefully. He avoided unnecessary conflict. He did not seek attention. He preferred privacy because it supported focus. Focus was essential to his success. Many people believe wealth requires constant intensity. Rockefeller believed it required steadiness. He believed intensity burns out systems, steadiness strengthens them. This steadiness came from self-control. He practiced emotional discipline. When faced with criticism, he did not react publicly. When faced with success, he did not become careless. He understood that extremes weaken judgment. Balance preserved clarity. This emotional control was not innate, it was cultivated. He learned to separate self-worth from outcomes. He learned to see mistakes as information rather than failure. This allowed him to improve continuously. Continuous improvement was one of his quiet strengths. He believed that small refinements applied consistently created resilience. He did not wait for perfection, he worked toward better. Better processes, better organization, better understanding. This mindset kept him grounded. The public often misunderstands this because they focus on results. They see wealth and assume aggression or greed. They do not see the discipline required to maintain order at scale. They do not see the restraint required to delay gratification. They do not see the humility required to learn constantly. Rockefeller did not romanticize wealth. He respected it. He knew it could distort judgment if not handled carefully. This is why he emphasized structure over indulgence. Structure protected him from himself. This lesson matters deeply. Money amplifies who you already are. If you lack discipline, it amplifies chaos. If you lack clarity, it amplifies confusion. Rockefeller built discipline first. This is why his principles are transferable. You do not need his resources to apply them. You need his mindset. You can begin by bringing order to what you already manage. You can track expenses honestly. You can plan before acting. You can build routines that support clarity. These actions may feel small. They are not. Small actions repeated daily create stability. Stability creates confidence. Confidence allows patience. And patience allows growth. Rockefeller trusted this process because he saw it work over time. He did not need reassurance from others. He relied on consistency. As you reflect on this, remember that wealth is not a race. It is a construction. It is built piece by piece, decision by decision. In the next part, we will explore how Rockefeller viewed competition, cooperation, and reputation, and how his quiet understanding of human nature strengthened his position without noise or confrontation. For now, remain with this truth. Order precedes wealth, and order begins with how you think.
To understand John D. Rockefeller more fully, you must look at how he viewed other people. He did not see competition as a battle to be won through force. He saw it as a condition to be managed through understanding. This difference shaped everything he built. Most people approach competition emotionally. They feel threatened, they feel rushed, they feel the need to prove something. These emotions lead to hurried decisions and unnecessary conflict. Rockefeller avoided this. He believed that conflict wasted energy. Energy, to him, was better used improving systems. He understood that when your operations are efficient and stable, many conflicts resolve themselves. Instead of reacting to competitors, he studied them. He observed their costs, their weaknesses, and their habits. He noticed where they relied on chance and where they lacked discipline. He did not rush to confront them. He waited for reality to do that work. When others expanded too quickly, he refined. When others borrowed heavily, he strengthened reserves. When others argued publicly, he stayed silent. Silence was not avoidance, it was strategy. Rockefeller understood human nature well. He knew that people often reveal their weaknesses under pressure. He did not need to expose them. He allowed time to do it. This patience unsettled many of his rivals. They expected reaction. They found restraint. This restraint made his position stronger over time. His businesses became predictable, reliable, and trusted by those who valued stability. He did not need popularity. He needed consistency. Consistency attracts cooperation. Suppliers preferred working with him because he paid on time and honored agreements. Partners trusted him because he valued clarity over advantage. Employees respected him because systems were stable and expectations were clear. Trust was not accidental, it was cultivated. Rockefeller believed reputation was built through behavior, not statements. He did not advertise his values, he lived them quietly. This approach also shaped how he handled negotiation. He did not seek to win at the expense of others. He sought arrangements that reduced uncertainty. He understood that relationships based on resentment are unstable. Stability mattered more than dominance. This does not mean he avoided firm decisions. He was decisive when necessary, but his decisions were grounded in analysis, not emotion. He believed that fairness, when combined with clarity, reduced friction. Reduced friction increased efficiency. Efficiency strengthened the system as a whole. This thinking extended to cooperation. Rockefeller was not afraid to collaborate if it strengthened structure. He understood that isolation increases vulnerability. Shared systems, when properly designed, reduce risk. Many people misunderstand this and assume he worked alone. He did not. He worked with others, but always within clear boundaries. Roles were defined. Responsibilities were understood. Ambiguity was minimized. Ambiguity creates tension. Tension creates mistakes. Rockefeller avoided both. He believed that people perform best when expectations are clear and systems support good behavior. He did not rely on personality or inspiration. He relied on structure. This is a crucial lesson. Many people try to build wealth by motivating themselves emotionally. They rely on excitement, pressure, or urgency. These states are temporary. When they fade, so does progress. Rockefeller relied on systems that worked even when motivation was low. This allowed him to remain steady.
His view of competition was rooted in self-control. He believed that if you focus too much on others, you lose sight of your own structure. Comparison distracts from improvement. He rarely spoke publicly about rivals. He focused inward. This inward focus gave him clarity. He did not need to appear powerful. He needed to be effective. Effectiveness to him meant reducing uncertainty wherever possible. Uncertainty was the true enemy. Most people fear competitors. Rockefeller feared disorder. Competitors came and went. Disorder, if ignored, destroyed everything. So he organized relentlessly. This organizing extended to his finances, his operations, and his thinking. He believed that clear thinking produced clear outcomes. He also believed that calmness was contagious. When leaders remain calm, others follow. When leaders panic, chaos spreads. Rockefeller guarded his composure because he knew others watched him,
even when he said little. This calm presence created stability. People trusted stability. Over time, this trust became a quiet advantage. While others burned energy managing conflict, he conserved energy refining structure. This conservation mattered. Energy, like capital, must be allocated wisely. Rockefeller did not waste either. His reputation, often criticized publicly, was privately respected by those who worked closely with him. They saw his consistency, they saw his fairness, they saw his discipline. Public opinion changes quickly. Structure lasts. He accepted criticism without letting it distort his purpose. He understood that visibility invites misunderstanding. He did not allow misunderstanding to derail progress. This emotional maturity protected him. Many people allow resentment to guide decisions. Rockefeller refused this. He did not make decisions to prove a point. He made decisions to strengthen systems. This distinction matters. When you act to prove something, you react. When you act to strengthen something, you build. Rockefeller built. As you consider this, notice how much effort is wasted in your own life reacting to others. Notice how often comparison drains attention from improvement. This is not a judgment, it is an invitation. You can redirect energy inward. You can reduce noise. You can focus on making your own systems clearer and more stable. This is how quiet advantage forms. In the next part, we will look at Rockefeller's relationship with money itself, how he avoided emotional attachment to it, and how this detachment gave him clarity that many never develop. For now, rest with this understanding. True strength is rarely loud, and lasting success rarely argues.
To understand John D. Rockefeller clearly, you must look at how he related to money itself. He did not love it. He did not fear it. He treated money as a tool and nothing more. This alone separated him from many people who handled large sums. Most people form emotional relationships with money. They see it as safety, status, or proof of worth. These beliefs distort judgment. Rockefeller avoided this trap early. He learned to see money as a record of decisions already made. It showed what worked and what did not. It revealed efficiency and waste. It reflected discipline or the lack of it. Money, to him, was neutral. Because of this, he could make decisions others could not. He was not tempted by excess. He was not paralyzed by fear of loss. He understood that money must move through systems wisely or it becomes destructive. He believed unmanaged wealth created confusion. This belief shaped how he handled profit. He did not rush to enjoy it. He asked where it should be placed to strengthen structure. He reinvested carefully, not aggressively. Reinvestment was not ambition. It was maintenance. He believed systems must be fed in order to remain stable. Machinery, transportation, logistics, people, and planning all required steady support. Money existed to support these needs. This perspective removed drama from financial decisions. Where others saw opportunity for indulgence, Rockefeller saw responsibility. Where others saw freedom from discipline, he saw greater need for it. As wealth increased, so did his restraint. This is rarely discussed. People assume wealth leads to excess naturally. Rockefeller believed excess weakened judgment. He chose simplicity not as sacrifice, but as protection. Protection of clarity. Protection of focus. He understood that comfort can dull attention. He valued alertness more than pleasure. This allowed him to remain mentally sharp long after others lost discipline. He also understood that money magnifies habits. If your habits are careless, money amplifies carelessness. If your habits are disciplined, money amplifies discipline.
Rockefeller also understood that money should not control time. He protected his schedule carefully. He did not allow wealth to fragment his attention. Many people become busier as they become more successful. Rockefeller became more selective. He valued fewer decisions made well over many decisions made poorly. Decision fatigue weakens judgment. He reduced it deliberately. This discipline extended to generosity as well. He believed giving should be intentional, not emotional. He did not give to relieve guilt or gain approval. He gave because he believed responsibility followed capacity. Capacity requires structure. He applied the same principles to giving that he applied to business. Planning, accountability, and long-term impact mattered more than appearances. This approach reflected his deeper philosophy. He believed life should be ordered. That order created harmony. That harmony allowed resources to be used wisely. Money was part of that system. This view protected him from arrogance. He did not see wealth as proof of superiority. He saw it as proof of alignment between effort and structure. Alignment, not entitlement. This belief grounded him emotionally. When setbacks occurred, he did not see them as personal failures. He saw them as signals that systems needed adjustment. This prevented discouragement. Discouragement clouds judgment. He remained steady. Rockefeller also understood that wealth does not remove uncertainty, it only changes its form. Because of this, he never relied on money alone for security. He relied on discipline, planning, and adaptability. These qualities cannot be taken away. This is an important truth. Money can be lost. Discipline remains. This is why his confidence was quiet. It did not depend on conditions. It depended on habits. As you reflect on this, consider your own relationship with money. Notice where emotion enters. Notice where avoidance exists. Notice where structure could replace anxiety. This is not about earning more immediately. It is about thinking more clearly. Clarity precedes improvement. Rockefeller did not separate inner order from outer success. He believed they were connected. When thinking is clear, actions align. When actions align, results follow. Not quickly, but reliably. In the next part, we will explore how Rockefeller handled pressure, criticism, and uncertainty, and how his inner stability allowed him to remain steady while others lost direction. For now, rest with this understanding. Money serves best when it is quiet, and clarity grows where emotion is disciplined. Rockefeller built disciplined habits first. He tracked finances meticulously. He reviewed operations regularly. He questioned assumptions. He adjusted systems before problems grew large. This constant attention did not create stress. It reduced it. Stress comes from neglect. Order reduces anxiety. Most people avoid looking closely at their finances because it makes them uncomfortable. Rockefeller believed discomfort was temporary, but clarity was lasting. He faced numbers honestly. This honesty allowed him to make calm decisions. He did not need to guess. He did not need to hope. He knew where he stood. This knowledge brought stability.
As John D. Rockefeller's responsibilities increased, so did the pressure placed upon him. Pressure reveals character. Many people believe pressure creates strength. In truth, pressure exposes what is already there. If habits are weak, pressure magnifies weakness. If thinking is disordered, pressure brings confusion. Rockefeller understood this. He prepared for pressure long before it arrived. He built habits that stabilized him under strain. When criticism grew loud, he did not react publicly. When uncertainty increased, he did not abandon structure. He trusted preparation more than reaction. This trust allowed him to remain calm when others grew anxious. Anxiety spreads quickly through organizations. Rockefeller guarded against it by managing himself first. Self-management came before leadership. He believed that if he lost control of his own thinking, no system could compensate. So he practiced emotional discipline daily. He limited exposure to unnecessary noise. He chose reflection over argument. This was not weakness, it was preservation. Criticism followed him throughout his life. Some of it was justified, much of it was exaggerated. He did not deny mistakes, but he refused to be shaped by public opinion. Public opinion changes constantly. Principles endure. He anchored himself in principles rather than approval. This allowed him to correct errors without humiliation and to accept success without arrogance. He did not seek to explain himself constantly. Explanation often invites argument. He focused instead on adjustment. Adjustment improves outcomes. Arguments consume energy. Rockefeller conserved energy carefully. When markets shifted unexpectedly, he did not panic. He examined causes. He reviewed systems. He looked for what could be strengthened. This habit of analysis protected him from fear. Fear narrows thinking. Analysis expands it. He believed that uncertainty should be met with curiosity, not alarm. Curiosity leads to understanding. Understanding leads to better decisions. This mindset allowed him to remain flexible without losing stability. Flexibility does not mean inconsistency. It means adapting methods while holding principles steady. Rockefeller was firm in principle and flexible in method. This balance is rare. Most people are flexible in principle and rigid in habit. They compromise values while clinging to routines that no longer serve them. Rockefeller did the opposite. He adjusted tactics without abandoning discipline. This approach helped him endure criticism that would have broken others. He did not internalize attacks. He separated identity from outcome. He understood that criticism often reflects fear.
He listened when listening was useful. He ignored when noise offered nothing. This discernment preserved his mental health. He valued peace of mind highly. He understood that inner stability was an asset. Without it, wealth became a burden rather than a resource. He protected his health intentionally. He rested. He walked. He maintained routines that supported longevity. He believed that endurance mattered more than intensity. This belief shaped his long-term success. Many people burn out chasing rapid results. Rockefeller avoided this by pacing himself. He understood that steady effort over time outperforms bursts of strain. This pacing allowed him to think clearly even in old age. Clarity is fragile. It must be protected. Rockefeller also understood that mistakes were inevitable. He did not expect perfection. He expected correction. Correction requires humility. He was willing to revise decisions. He did not cling to pride. Pride delays improvement. He valued effectiveness over ego. This humility is often overlooked. People assume powerful figures are stubborn. Rockefeller was persistent but not rigid. Persistence focused on goals. Flexibility guided methods. This distinction matters deeply. When you confuse persistence with stubbornness, you suffer. When you separate them, you grow. Rockefeller grew steadily. He accepted that some problems could not be solved quickly. He allowed time to do its work. He did not force outcomes prematurely. Forcing creates instability. He trusted that consistent effort aligned with reality would produce results over time. This trust reduced anxiety. As you consider this, notice how pressure affects you. Notice where you react instead of respond.
Notice where noise pulls you away from clarity. You can train yourself differently. You can build habits that stabilize you under strain. You can limit exposure to distraction. You can anchor decisions in principles rather than emotion. These changes do not require wealth. They create it. Rockefeller did not become calm because he was wealthy. He became wealthy because he was calm. This truth is uncomfortable for some. It removes the excuse that money will solve inner disorder. It will not. Inner order must come first. In the next part, we will look at Rockefeller's long-term vision, how he thought in decades rather than moments, and how this perspective allowed him to build something that outlived trends and temporary success. For now, remain with this understanding. Calm is not a luxury, it is a strategy.
John D. Rockefeller thought in spans of time that most people never consider. While others focused on the next deal, the next season, or the next year, he quietly looked decades ahead. This was not imagination, it was discipline. Long-term thinking requires emotional stability. If your emotions rise and fall with short-term outcomes, you cannot see far. Rockefeller trained himself to step back from immediate results. He understood that today's conditions were temporary, but structure endured. This gave him an unusual advantage. He did not ask whether something would work quickly. He asked whether it would last. This question shaped every major decision he made. He accepted slower progress if it meant greater durability. He invested in foundations rather than appearances. He understood that what grows fast often collapses under its own weight. He had no interest in fragile success. This long-term vision required restraint. He often declined opportunities that promised quick returns but weakened structure. To others, this looked like caution. To him, it was discipline. Discipline protects the future. Rockefeller believed that time rewards consistency. He trusted this belief because he tested it repeatedly. He watched how small advantages compounded when protected from disruption. Compounding was not accidental, it was cultivated. He applied steady pressure in the same direction for long periods. He did not change direction easily. He changed only when evidence demanded it. This steadiness created momentum. Most people change direction too often. They mistake movement for progress. Rockefeller knew that progress requires alignment, not constant motion. Alignment between thought, action, and structure. He also understood that long-term vision demands sacrifice. You must be willing to disappoint short-term desires in service of long-term stability. He practiced this willingly. He did not seek excitement, he sought predictability. Predictability allowed planning. Planning reduced risk. Reduced risk preserved capital. This cycle strengthened itself over time. Rockefeller also understood that legacy was built unintentionally. You do not build it by chasing recognition, you build it by maintaining standards long after attention fades. He maintained standards quietly. He expected consistency from himself and others. He believed that expectations, when clear and reasonable, improved performance. Ambiguity weakened effort. This clarity extended to succession and continuity. He thought beyond his own involvement. He built systems that could function without his constant presence. This required humility.
You must accept that systems matter more than individuals. Rockefeller accepted this early. He did not confuse leadership with control. He believed leadership meant building structures that made control unnecessary. This is a profound idea. Most people cling to control because they fear irrelevance. Rockefeller built relevance into systems. When systems work, leadership endures beyond personality. This is how wealth becomes durable. He also understood that time reveals truth. Unsound practices fail eventually. Sound practices endure quietly. He aligned himself with what endured. This patience protected him from trends. Trends come and go. Structure remains. Rockefeller did not resist change blindly. He adapted thoughtfully. He allowed time to reveal which changes were meaningful. This prevented overreaction. Overreaction is costly. As you reflect on this, consider how short-term thinking affects your decisions. Notice where urgency replaces clarity. Notice where impatience undermines structure. You can slow down. Slowing down does not mean stopping. It means choosing direction carefully. Rockefeller moved deliberately. He trusted that steady effort aligned with reality would outperform frantic effort guided by emotion. He trusted this even when others doubted him. This trust gave him peace. Peace allowed patience. Patience allowed growth. These are not abstract ideas, they are practical disciplines. You can practice long-term thinking in small ways. You can make decisions that favor stability over excitement. You can build routines that support consistency. These choices compound. Rockefeller did not wake up powerful. He became powerful by honoring time. Time is not an enemy. It is an ally to those who respect it. In the next part, we will bring these ideas together and explore how Rockefeller's inner order shaped his outer life, and how the same principles can bring clarity, stability, and confidence to your own financial path. For now, rest in this truth. What endures is rarely rushed, and what is built patiently stands quietly.
When you step back and look at John D. Rockefeller's life as a whole, a pattern becomes clear. Nothing about it was accidental. His wealth was not the result of a single bold move. It was the outcome of thousands of quiet decisions made with consistency. Each decision reflected the same inner order. This is where many people misunderstand success. They look for moments. Rockefeller built processes. Moments are dramatic. Processes are steady. Moments attract attention. Processes create results. He trusted processes more than personality. He believed that if systems were sound, outcomes would follow naturally. This belief freed him from constant self-promotion. He did not need to convince others of his importance. He needed systems that worked. This inward focus shaped his identity. Rockefeller did not define himself by wealth. He defined himself by responsibility. He believed that every role carried an obligation to act with care and foresight. This belief grounded him. He did not separate his inner life from his outer work. He believed that disordered thinking led to disordered outcomes. So he practiced clarity privately, long before it showed publicly. This is an important truth. Outer success is often the echo of inner habits. If your thinking is scattered, your results will be unstable. If your thinking is disciplined, your results gain structure. Rockefeller worked on his thinking continuously. He reviewed decisions. He examined motives. He adjusted habits. He did not assume he had arrived. He remained a student of cause and effect. This humility allowed growth. Growth requires openness. He did not cling to outdated ideas out of pride. When evidence changed, he adapted. But he did not abandon principles. He refined methods. Principles gave him direction. Methods gave him flexibility. This balance created confidence. Confidence is often misunderstood as boldness. Rockefeller's confidence was quiet. It came from knowing that his actions were aligned with reality. Alignment reduces doubt. He trusted himself because he trusted his process. This trust allowed him to remain calm even when outcomes were uncertain.
Uncertainty did not threaten him. Disorder did.
So he organized. He organized time. He organized resources. He organized thought. This organizing did not make life rigid. It made it predictable enough to manage. Predictability allows peace. Peace allows clarity. Clarity allows wise decisions. This sequence matters. Most people reverse it. They seek peace after success. Rockefeller created peace before it. This is why his wealth did not destabilize him. As resources grew, he increased structure. As influence expanded, he increased restraint. As responsibility deepened, he increased reflection. He matured with his success. Many people do not. They allow success to amplify weaknesses. Rockefeller allowed it to strengthen discipline. This was a choice. You can make the same choice. You do not need extraordinary circumstances to practice these principles. You need willingness. You need patience. You need honesty with yourself. You can bring order to your finances. You can reduce waste. You can plan instead of react. You can build systems that support you when motivation fades. These are not dramatic changes. They are meaningful ones. Rockefeller's life reminds you that wealth is not a shortcut. It is a responsibility earned over time. It asks for clarity before comfort, discipline before indulgence, and patience before reward. These demands are not punishments. They are protections. They protect you from chaos. They protect you from regret. They protect you from decisions made in haste. As you carry these ideas forward, let them settle quietly. There is no need to rush. Understanding deepens with reflection. You do not need to become someone else to apply them. You need only to become more deliberate. Deliberate with your time. Deliberate with your money. Deliberate with your thinking. This deliberateness creates stability, and stability creates confidence that does not depend on noise, approval, or speed. This is the kind of confidence that endures, not loud, not hurried, but steady, just as Rockefeller lived.
As these ideas settle, it becomes clear that John D. Rockefeller's life was not a pursuit of wealth, but a practice of alignment. He aligned thought with reality. He aligned action with principle. He aligned systems with long-term purpose. Wealth followed this alignment naturally. This is where many people struggle. They want results without alignment. They want comfort without structure. They want certainty without discipline. Rockefeller accepted that these things cannot be separated. He did not resist responsibility. He welcomed it as a stabilizing force. Responsibility required him to think clearly, act carefully, and plan patiently. Responsibility sharpened him. He believed that when you accept responsibility fully, life becomes simpler. Decisions become clearer. Priorities reveal themselves. Avoiding responsibility creates complexity. Rockefeller avoided complexity whenever possible. He simplified operations. He clarified roles. He reduced unnecessary choices. This simplification preserved energy. Energy, once preserved, could be directed toward improvement. He did not waste effort proving himself right. He used effort to refine systems. He did not dwell on mistakes emotionally. He corrected them practically. This practical mindset is often mistaken for coldness. It was not. It was care expressed through order. Rockefeller cared deeply about stability. He believed instability harmed everyone involved. His pursuit of order was, in his mind, a moral obligation. This belief gave his work meaning beyond profit. Meaning steadies the mind.
When work is meaningful, patience becomes easier. When patience is present, anxiety diminishes. When anxiety diminishes, clarity grows. This cycle sustained him. He also understood that wealth tests character. It reveals what a person values when pressure is removed. He guarded against complacency by maintaining routines. Routine was not monotony, it was grounding. He returned daily to the basics: review, planning, reflection, and adjustment. These practices kept him connected to reality. Reality does not reward fantasy. It rewards alignment.
Rockefeller respected this deeply. He did not seek to escape reality through money. He engaged with it more fully. This engagement kept him relevant as conditions changed. He aged without losing clarity. This is rare. Many people grow older, but not wiser. Rockefeller grew steadier. He understood that wisdom is the result of lived discipline. Discipline creates perspective. Perspective reduces fear. Fear is the greatest enemy of clear financial thinking. Rockefeller managed fear by reducing uncertainty where possible and accepting it where it could not be eliminated. This balance created inner stability. Inner stability was his true wealth. As you listen, you may notice a quiet reassurance forming. The reassurance that wealth is not reserved for the reckless or the lucky. It is built by those willing to think clearly over long periods. This reassurance is accurate. You do not need to rush. You do not need to imitate anyone. You need only to bring more order to your thinking and more discipline to your actions. These qualities are human. They are learnable. Rockefeller learned them gradually. He practiced them imperfectly. He improved over time. You can do the same. No part of this path requires drama. It requires honesty. It requires patience. It requires respect for cause and effect. Cause and effect never hurry, but they never forget. In the final part, we will close this reflection gently, bringing these ideas together into a calm understanding that you can carry forward without strain or urgency. For now, sit with this truth. Wealth grows where order is honored, and order begins within.
As this reflection comes to a close, it is important to return to where you are. John D. Rockefeller's life does not ask you to admire it from a distance. It asks you to understand it quietly and apply what fits your own circumstances. The lessons are simple, but they are not easy. They ask for patience in a world that rewards speed. They ask for discipline in a culture that celebrates impulse. They ask for clarity when distraction is everywhere. Rockefeller did not succeed because he knew more than others. He succeeded because he practiced what many avoid. He practiced order. You can begin here. You can bring order to your finances by looking at them honestly. Track what flows in and what flows out, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Numbers are not accusations, they are information. Information creates choice. You can bring order to your work by simplifying where possible. Reduce unnecessary steps. Clarify priorities. Focus on what strengthens your position over time rather than what brings quick relief. Relief fades. Structure remains. You can bring order to your thinking by separating emotion from decision. When fear or excitement appears, pause. Give yourself time before acting. Ask what strengthens stability rather than what satisfies feeling. This pause is powerful. Rockefeller used it often. You can build patience by thinking in longer spans. Ask not only what helps this month, but what strengthens the next few years. Small sacrifices made consistently create quiet security. Security grows slowly, but it grows reliably.
You can practice discipline through routine. Set simple habits you can keep. Review, plan, adjust. Do not seek perfection, seek consistency. Consistency builds trust with yourself, and self-trust creates confidence. You can reduce anxiety by accepting responsibility rather than avoiding it. Responsibility clarifies priorities. It simplifies decisions. It replaces worry with action.
So he organized. He organized time. He organized resources. He organized thought. This organizing did not make life rigid. It made it predictable enough to manage. Predictability allows peace. Peace allows clarity. Clarity allows wise decisions. This sequence matters. Most people reverse it. They seek peace after success. Rockefeller created peace before it. This is why his wealth did not destabilize him. As resources grew, he increased structure. As influence expanded, he increased restraint. As responsibility deepened, he increased reflection. He matured with his success. Many people do not. They allow success to amplify weaknesses. Rockefeller allowed it to strengthen discipline. This was a choice. You can make the same choice. You do not need extraordinary circumstances to practice these principles. You need willingness. You need patience. You need honesty with yourself. You can bring order to your finances. You can reduce waste. You can plan instead of react. You can build systems that support you when motivation fades. These are not dramatic changes. They are meaningful ones. Rockefeller's life reminds you that wealth is not a shortcut. It is a responsibility earned over time. It asks for clarity before comfort, discipline before indulgence, and patience before reward. These demands are not punishments. They are protections. They protect you from chaos. They protect you from regret. They protect you from decisions made in haste. As you carry these ideas forward, let them settle quietly. There is no need to rush. Understanding deepens with reflection. You do not need to become someone else to apply them. You need only to become more deliberate. Deliberate with your time. Deliberate with your money. Deliberate with your thinking. This deliberateness creates stability. And stability creates confidence that does not depend on noise, approval, or speed. This is the kind of confidence that endures, not loud, not hurried, but steady, just as Rockefeller lived. If this reflection brought you a little more calm, a little more clarity, then it has done its work. The purpose of this channel is not to impress you with noise, but to help you think more clearly about money, work, and responsibility. Real wealth is built quietly, and understanding it requires patience. On Money of Legend, we study the lives, mindsets, and inner disciplines of those who built lasting success, not to copy them, but to learn how order, clarity, and long-term thinking shape real results. If this way of thinking speaks to you, stay with the channel. Return when you want perspective instead of pressure, and understanding instead of hype. Until then, move carefully, think clearly, and build patiently. This is Money of Legend.